And now, after years of planning, sweating, and going broke, here is the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
I'll alert the media.
Why they would give this man a podcast is anyone's guess.
Then there is what could only be a bizarre coincidence or something else.
Welcome to the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Country music and fine moonshine. Finally, a podcast that lets it all hang out.
Let's level with America.
Got your boots? Ready for some whiskey?
These boots are made for walking.
One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
And now, the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
Hey everyone, Jim here, Boots and Whiskey Podcast. Welcome to episode 301. We're probably not going to go on which episode is which going forward, but I'm thinking about it now, and it's episode 301. Last week we released episode 300 with Nolan Taylor. It's been blowing up. Thank you all so much for everybody that has watched and listened so far. But today we have Gabby Mooney on the show. For those of you that don't know, Gabby has been on this show before. She has become a huge fan and follower of ours, and she's become a super good friend of mine. There's a lot to say about somebody that you can reach out to, and especially in this industry, and just be like, hey, what's up? And just shoot the shit. And that is Gabby for me. She means the absolute world to me. She's got new music coming out this week, partially why she's here. And the other reasons is because she's a total badass, and I love this girl. We talk a lot about a lot of things you're going to see here. So a big thank you to her and her team for having her back on. I think that's really it. There's nothing crazy going on here. What did we do since we last talked? No, I don't think anything. No, nothing crazy. We're just doing the thing. So thank you for being here. We've posted our we saw Chase Beckham. If you haven't seen Chase Beckham, go see Chase Beckham, because he is not that American Idol radio bullshit that I thought he was going to be. And I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of that to it, obviously. But he is way better than that. Way better than the radio Idol umbrella. Way better. So trust me on that one, because I tell you, right? I mean, we told you Post Malone sucked. So anyway, so that review is up. We did go see him this past Thursday night, I think, at Six String in Foxborough. Big thank you to Six String. Like we're really enjoying our time over there. So thank you to them and everybody involved there. And that's it. I hope you enjoy our conversation here with Gabby. And big shout out to her and the Mooney family for allowing me to bust on Shay a little bit through this episode, and it's all in good fun. I think Shay Mooney has one of the best voices in music. So a big thank you to everybody, and we'll see you on the flip side, guys. Enjoy the show. Cheers.
Yes, I gotta prop you up with my little candle.
What's going on?
Look at how many cats I have.
What the fuck? What do you got a vet over there?
I do. That's
Awesome.
the problem. It's like
Awesome.
I have started like rescuing all these animals that are just little nincompoops and find me
Yeah.
in the woods.
Yeah.
And how are you? It's been forever.
It has been forever, and it seems like every time I text you, I'm drunk. So I'm sorry for that.
It's fine. I'm
Actually,
always
not
asleep.
every time. The last time I
sleep
definitely
so
was.
much these days.
I definitely was last time I texted you. And I was like, I got up the next morning and I was like,
Did I text you
I'm
back?
an idiot. How? No. No, I wouldn't have either.
It was probably late. I truly passed the poo-poo out, and then I just wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, what happened?
It was probably like, it had to have been like 10:30, 11 my time. And I was at the bar, and over the loudspeaker, over the radio, your brother was on, and I was like, "Oh, Gabby," and
Those were my favorite texts, though.
And I was like, I think I wrote just like, your brother's on the radio thinking of you. Hope you're well, and like
Oh,
that
I'm
was
sorry
it.
I didn't text you back. I
It's all right.
probably like saw it the next day and was just like, oh, I'm gonna text him back, and then never did. That
It's totally fine. I don't
happens
care.
all the time. I'm the
Uh,
worst.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Nope. It's honestly, it's been a hell of a God. When was the last time you were here?
It's been a minute.
It's been a
It's
while.
yeah. It was like before. Wasn't it before brain surgery?
No, it was right
It was
after.
right after brain surgery when I was in Nashville. Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was right after.
Yes.
Yeah, so
So
it's
it's
been a
been a
while.
minute. That's been 2 years.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes
Like
sense.
that is bizarre. We were
Yeah,
talking about the other day. I was just like, oh my gosh, like time just
yeah, yeah.
so.
Honestly, like I've talked to people and like still have conversations, and I was like, "When was the last time you were on the podcast?" And they were like 2 years ago, and I was like, "No way,
Like
no
there's no
way,
way. I know.
there's no
I know.
way." But I mean, I guess time flies when you're having some sort of fun.
I know, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I feel like time is just a marker.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it doesn't get like worse or better. I think that like time just kind of you can
yeah,
make it better as you go.
yeah.
I don't believe in the whole like as you age things get worse. Like it's not true
No, it's not.
at all.
It's not.
I'm grateful
It's
for the knowledge.
right. It's really all of what you make of it.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. But this is Teddy. Teddy, come here. This is my emotional therapy dog that I gave anxiety. Um,
you gave it anxiety, or it gave
uh-huh.
you anxiety.
I got him for my anxiety, and now I have a dog with anxiety.
It's awesome.
So he's like with me. He's like, Mom, I just think that maybe I should go look at the pigs real quick, like
Yeah.
check on them.
God. So so now since the last time I talked to you, what has been going on? Like I know you had your surgery, but we had talked like shortly after that.
Yeah.
Um and then you were on TV for a little while, weren't you? Or was that before? Like I don't remember anymore. Didn't you guys do that
Oh, it's
show
reconnecting.
with the houses and all that?
Oh yes, I was saying it's reconnecting. Am I in a
Oh,
bad spot?
no, no. No. It's
Can you
reconnecting
see
for me
me?
too.
Okay.
But
Okay,
I can
good.
still see you and hear you, so I mean, I don't know.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, the last time I think we spoke is I did the Fixer to Fabulous show,
Yeah, hold on.
and
Does it still say reconnecting on your end?
yeah, it does.
All
What
right.
the poop? Oh,
It's weird.
well, boo. I lost you completely. Okay, I'm
Oh,
just gonna hold you close. I don't know.
there you go. That's weird.
I have no idea
I have no idea either.
what just happened.
I don't know. But you can see me all right?
I can see you.
All
All right,
right.
can you see me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know
The-
what. It's probably my service. We live out in the boondocks in
There you go.
Arkansas,
All right. Well,
so
let's just keep going. So you were on, what were you on?
was I was on Fixer to Fabulous,
That's
that
right.
TV show that like renovates the houses and everything. Let me try to go inside and see if it helps at all. Let me see if I can like sit right here. This might help. This might this might help a little bit. Let me check. Let me see. So I'm closer to the router.
Oh, there you go.
It's reconnecting. Dadgummit.
Yeah, but like
This
we're
is the
still
only thing,
recording,
living
so
out
like
in the boonies.
I don't know what the hell's going on with this damn thing today.
Ugh.
It was yesterday too. Yesterday it was doing it. Oh, there we go. All right.
Did you get it?
I guess
I tried to
I
get closer to the router. Do you want me to leave and come back again? Because you're still frozen.
am I? All right. Yeah, let's leave and come back in.
Okay.
All right. Leave and session. All right. I think we're not going to talk about it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, perfect. All right, so let's
Oh,
start this.
blessing.
Let's start this over again. Hi, Gabby.
Hey, Jim.
All right, so it's been forever since you've been here. We've kind of. I'm gonna try to put this all together. And we were talking about the show you were on. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's called Fix or Fabulous,
That's
and it's an HGTV show. Shay was like, I want to renovate great grandma's old house and all this different stuff. They surprised me with it. It was nuts. I moved from Nashville to Arkansas, and I've been in Nashville for 10 years, over 10 years. And so coming back to Arkansas was just like, wow, but I love it. I have chickens, I have ducks,
You're
I
like a
have pigs.
farmer.
I am. I'm like, I'm Farmer G. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just out here. Gardening is my favorite thing to do now, which is hilarious because I used to not be able to keep a succulent alive. And so
Same.
now that I'm like out and piddling in my garden, the fact that all these things are flourishing is a miracle,
That's awesome.
to be honest. Like, I'm real proud of myself.
Yeah.
But it's been really wild to kind of coming back to Arkansas and stuff because people are so good here.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like salt of the earth people. And not that people in Nashville aren't, it's just there's a lot of people in Nashville that have goals and dreams and they want to get something from something. And here, everybody's just blue collar and, you know, they're just making a living. It's kind of refreshing, you
Yeah, I'm sure.
know?
I'm sure.
To just kind of be around people that are just genuinely good-hearted people.
Yeah.
And I think that the industry can really, really make you hardened or like
Yeah, yeah.
make you not like things or whatever. You know how it
Yeah.
is.
I do. I do. It's one of those things where, I talk to people from all over and like everybody says the same thing. Like Nashville's great. It's great. But like when they go home or they're doing their own thing outside of Nashville, like it's like almost like they can breathe,
Yeah.
you know? Like
Yeah.
there's no pressure. You can just do you the way you want to do you and then, you know.
Nobody's really giving their opinion on how you should dress, how you should talk, how you should, you know, write your songs. And nobody's trying to pitch you a song,
Right.
you know, like there's a couple people that are like, you know, we should write sometime, but it's not like a pressure thing, you know,
Right.
it's not
Right.
like if you don't write with me, my career is going to be ruined. It's like, hey, it'd be fun to,
Right.
you know, do something.
Right.
And it's
Right.
just different here.
So the house you're in now, was that your great grandmother's or grandmother's or how did that work?
Yes. So
Okay.
it doesn't look anything like my great grandma's at
Oh, I'm
all
sure it doesn't.
anymore.
Right.
So this is insane. We've been working on it more. This is just like it's truly insane. We've been putting pictures on the wall and stuff. Because I had never I owned a townhouse, but I never owned like a home with land.
Sure.
And so just it's my dad's a builder. And so he's the one that built this with Jenny and Dave and Shay. And he just kind of went all out on it. He was like, we need to make this bigger. And it needs to be a bigger living room and all this stuff. And just, it's beautiful. It's the perfect size house. It's just, I was living in apartments, you know, and then
Right.
townhouse, like anything that's not an apartment, I'm like, this is huge, you know, like,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm like, whoa. There's so much space for activities, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, just from the looks of that, like that's like the size of a lot of people's houses to begin with.
also was mine. The
Right.
size of my apartment, you know. So it's just kind of a dream, and I had like I had a lot of plans. I had signed a whole another year lease in Nashville when all this went down, and so I was paying, you know, rent in Nashville, and it's just like it really puts things into perspective of like, oh my gosh, I get to see my nieces every day, They come over to my house every Wednesday, and my nephews, and it's just a game changer,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
I'm so stinking blessed right now. It just feels crazy that I get to my sister's next door. Like
Yeah.
I can walk through the woods and see my sister. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
So
Now, so
I
from
don't
like
know. That's crazy.
from start to finish, right? From when Shay comes to you and says, "Hey, I want to do this thing," to the time when it's over. How much time was that?
It was no time. Like,
Really?
okay, so I'm telling you, because my dad is such an amazing builder. He doesn't build homes anymore. He builds like medical colleges and assisted livings. Like he's all in the corporate thing, but he loves like home building when it comes to us kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And so dad was like, I'm going to get all my guys on this. Like it was just, so they started in like, I want to say April, and they finished it in November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Isn't
Dad
that
wasn't
nuts?
Dad wasn't fucking around, huh?
He wasn't. He was like, let's go.
Damn.
And it wasn't just this house. I have a guest house too. We had
Damn.
2 episodes. And Shay like made me this, it's called the mother-in-law suite. No Teddy. And they took the old barn that was there, and there's like a freaking sauna in it. There's
That's
a
awesome.
gym, and there's like
Damn.
an upstairs little loft with a grand piano. Like I'm telling you, when I say I was spoiled,
I'm
I was spoiled.
I'm coming to stay with you, Gab.
You have to come and visit me. Now
I'm
I
gonna.
have a place for you to come visit.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
my husband's mom just came and visited, and she got to stay in the little mother-in-law suite or whatever. But it has a whole kitchen. You can go in there and get in the sauna.
Damn.
Like, it's so cool,
Damn. You know,
right?
that. So how far are you from like Fort Smith?
I'm only about 45 minutes from Fort Smith,
Okay. All right. Well, then I have
so
somewhere
I'm
to
pretty
stay.
close.
Because I want to go to
I'm pretty
Peacemaker
far.
really bad in the fall.
Then come. Then
I
you have a
might.
place to stay.
I might. I
You just
just
holler
might.
at me.
I might. I
You
might.
just
Because
holler at
they.
me. I literally have the perfect guest house. It's so cool.
That's awesome. That's
The
awesome.
only thing it doesn't have is internet, really. Like, you
Who
can't really
cares?
get service, but like, who cares?
Right. When you're in a place like that, you does fine. Fine.
Exactly.
You know?
You can walk out, and I have 2 little piggies right outside. Like, I have a chicken coop now,
That's awesome.
and I have 2 little pigs, and I haven't been able to eat bacon ever since. It's so sad
Really?
because, like I love bacon, but like Piggy Sue and Pignelope are.
Pignelope. That's
Are you
awesome.
dead?
Oh my god.
Penelope. She's so cute. One's a cooney and one's a little potbelly. I didn't even anticipate getting the first one, but one of my friends was like, I'm moving into a house and that we can't take her. And would you want a little miniature goonie? Teddy, no bubbles. And I was like, well, I might as well. And
Right.
then I read that they're herd animals. And so my friends, Rick and Ethan, they were like, we have this new little litter of miniature potbellies. Would you want one of them? And I was like, I feel like we have passed the threshold
Yeah.
of, you know.
Yeah.
So now I have
Absolutely.
ducks and chickens and 2
That's
pigs.
awesome. Because that's the other thing. The last time I talked to you, you hadn't even gotten married yet.
No,
No, like I
I
think you
know.
guys had like just gotten engaged. I'm not even sure if you were engaged yet.
I don't even think we were engaged yet.
No.
Like,
Holy shit.
it's been like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now, like, everybody, all anybody can say is, being like, are you having like, when are you having babies? Like that's so, it comes so fast at you. And I'm like, I just got married. Like, I'm
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
thank God Shay keeps having kids because my mom is keeping preoccupied. They had their fourth boy.
They did, didn't they?
Yes, they have 4 boys now. Can you believe that?
No, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I have 3 boys, so yeah, I mean, I guess adding one more
Yeah.
isn't
Right? Just one more. But
right.
seriously, that's so many. I have 5 cats. And I'm not one of those people that's like having animals is the same as having kids. It's not.
It's not. Thank you for saying that out loud.
It's
Oh my God.
not.
I cannot stand when people are like, I'm a dog mom. I'm like,
Oh,
fuck off.
it's not
You're
the same
like,
thing.
it's not.
Like if
It
you
isn't.
are you worried about your kid going outside and where it's going to poop and no, you have to
Right.
change that diaper.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, they cry all hours of the night. It is a whole thing. And my
Yeah.
sister, she has 3. Hannah and Shay have 4. I have seen all of it, and I'm like, it is not the same thing.
No.
Not even close. Being
Not even close.
responsible for life.
Right. Right. Like I know this sounds harsh and people get mad at me all the time, but like if your dog dies, right,
Right.
you can just go out and get another dog.
Exactly. You're not like, well, I guess I'm going to go get another Martha.
Right, right. It's not, there's a yeah, it's 100% different. 100%.
And they have a soul.
Right.
People have a soul, and I pretend sometimes that my animals will go to heaven. I'm like, well, God, if you just happen to want Teddy up there, but it's not realistic. But you're gonna see your kids up there,
Right.
hopefully,
Right.
but you're
It's
not
true.
gonna see your rooster Fred.
No, nope.
It's not a
Nope. Sure
thing.
ain't. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So, in the last couple of years, have you been I've been so out of the loop with a lot of things. But like, are you getting back into music?
Oh
Have you
yeah.
been doing it? Have you like what the hell have you been doing, Gab?
I know, right? So I signed a new pub deal, a
Okay.
new little deal with, it's called Adrian James Music. I met these amazing people with Deb, and just allowed me. They loved the music. They loved what I was doing. Allowed me to be here in Arkansas and just travel back, which is so rare.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. You don't get deals like that. And so I've been currently recording a couple singles to release this summer, but finally rounding out my album. So, oh my gosh, you're going to love the music. I'm so
I
excited to show you.
I know. I can't wait.
I cannot freaking wait.
I
It's going
can't
to be so
wait.
exciting.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I'll show you when you come here. When you come
okay,
here for the fall,
I'm gonna. I
I'll be that annoying person and be like, listen to all my music.
yeah, because like when we chatted and texted not long ago about all of that. So when is that coming? Like when is the album going to be
Yeah.
done?
So we're putting out a couple of singles. I had written some songs that I absolutely love that were going to go on the album. But then, with time passing and stuff, I was like, I feel like this entire, which me, I am like very pro like cannabis and chill and all that. And I
Hmm.
love Jesus. And so I'm a weird kind of person.
Yeah,
But I like my music to kind of have a good frequency, have a good like vibe to it.
yeah,
And especially after going through all the things that I've I've been through, it's like I wanted easy listening music. Just like stuff that you could just throw on and be like, this is a vibe.
yeah.
And so I started writing that kind of stuff, and that's going to be the album to where it's just like you can listen all the way through, and it's got a lot of different influences in it. It's got some good beats. It's got some, dobro and mando in it. Like I think
Right.
you're gonna like it.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
At least I hope
Cannot
you.
wait.
You're gonna come here and be like, "This is horrible."
No, even if it was, I would never tell you.
You're like, "It is so
It's
interesting.
right. It's the best album I've ever listened to.
This is so different than what
Yeah.
is good."
Right. Oh man.
You're just
So
like, "Wow."
so in the time that you were doing kind of like everything else, were you like writing and all that, or were you just kind of focusing on what was going on?
I was writing a ton. I think for me, a lot of it was writing to process everything that went down and
Sure.
happened. Like it was it was very it was very hard to explain to people that even though you might look like you did, and the Bell's palsy was going away and all of that, it's just mentally it took me so much
I'm
to
sure.
get back, to even be able to. I called it my kind of isolation period,
Yeah.
where my friends would be like, "Are you good?" And I'm just like, "I am so sorry. I have, just kind of isolated myself, and I know what I'm doing right now is confusing to people, but my brain isn't okay right now. Like,
Right.
I have to isolate and kind of be alone." And once I got over that, and I don't think you ever, fully like are back to where you were before after brain surgery, because hopefully I'm better, because I had a huge freaking brain cyst.
Right.
But it's one of those things where you're so grateful, and you live in a kind of a different mode of everyone around you. Like like I don't do tons of podcasts and stuff. I don't do that. But people that have always been there for me, it's just like you have a more of an appreciation and a love for people that have been there for you and with you, and you realize the value of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's so different.
Absolutely. And then those are the kind of people, and like you, right? Like I don't have much of a. There's some artists and people I talk to that like I develop friendships with and all that, but like
Not me, you
you,
hate me, but like
I
other
yeah,
people,
like
no.
right, right. But like you and I, we were talking for a while, and then like shit happens, life happens, whatever, But like even a few months ago when I reached out to you and we were shooting the shit back and forth a little bit, like it was almost like no time had passed.
Yes.
Which is those are the kind of friendships are like real.
Yes, those are the real things, because
Right.
people only understand um your life when their own life is kind of the same. And with
Mhm.
creatives, our lives are crazy, and when you
Yeah.
have people that you can be like, "What up?" and nothing has changed, those
Yeah.
are the friendships are real.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. 100%.
Because if somebody is going to get offended at me disappearing and being not understanding, be like, "Yeah, she's probably has a lot going on in her brain." It, I can't sustain those
Right.
kind of
No.
friendships,
Nope. Yep.
and so like that's what I've always just loved about our friendship. It's just like it's so easy. When it's
Yeah.
easy, it's true.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know.
And it's like we were talking earlier, and I was thinking about it. There's been a lot of shit that has happened in 2 years, and like I was thinking about the last time we talked. Right. I remember being in my car recording our episode, and like I and like because of timing and everything like that, like I had to drive to Boston, back to like where I lived, and like
Yeah.
our conversation was like an hour and a half, and it felt like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
and it was awesome. Like it was
Yeah.
just so fun, and like when
Effortless.
right, right, and when Deb
Yeah.
reached out and was like, would you want to have Gabby on again? I was like, I would have Gabby on every week if I could. Like, are you kidding me? Um,
I'm telling you, it's so rare though. Like I tell Dev all the time, I'm like, when you find those people, you know it, because when you've been in the industry as long as we have, you know the fake. You can spot it from a freaking mile away, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
okay, like this is
yeah,
something we're gonna talk, and it'll be fine, but we're not gonna keep in contact.
right,
It's like, and they don't want to either.
right, right,
Like it's like,
right.
okay,
Right. Like
passing
there,
by.
I had, it's funny you say that because there was one artist that I wanted to have on for like almost since I started this,
Yeah.
and I was able to get him on, and we had an awesome conversation, and I had texted him like 2 or 3 weeks later, just about something stupid, and like texted back, had like a full blown conversation, and I was like, not what I expected. And like we text now like on a weekly basis. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome. You know, it's
Yeah.
always the ones that you're not sure that end up
Right.
being, real.
Genuine.
Right.
Oh yeah. And
Right.
the people that you would think would be the most real because they put off this like realness vibe, you're like, oh,
Right.
that's a shtick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's so
you
many,
know,
and like you can tell based on the conversation that, it's either they don't want to do it, they don't want to have
right,
it, or they're putting on a front,
right,
And the way we do this podcast, there's no hiding. You can't hide,
right, exactly.
you
But I
know?
think, the music industry, the one thing I have really appreciated about like all the changes and stuff is that labels aren't able to kind of hide their artists anymore.
Yeah.
They're unable to be like their cushion.
Right.
Like if they're a bad person, you're gonna know.
Right. Or they're going to tell you
And
in their music. Yeah.
exactly. And like social media and everything, like it's been a real challenge because you got to figure out all these new things and stuff. But on the same side, it gives you this whole new way to communicate with people instead of having to have a label or people to be like, they're a good person.
Right.
And, like convincing everybody for you. You can just kind of talk to the people yourself
Right.
and they can decide, because I was getting so sick of being fed narratives,
Yeah.
about people because you're just like everything we found out about, oh my God, like the Diddy stuff, like all this
Right.
stuff coming out. Like I've gone down the deep depths.
I'm sure you have.
You know me.
I do. I
Diving
do.
into conspiracy.
But like
Don't
that's
laugh
the
at
same
me.
thing, the same kind of thing with like Zach Bryan. Like I
Right.
I I love Zach's music, I do, right? But when the whole thing came out with his ex-girlfriend and bribing her with money and all that, it's like, guys, if you're a Zach Bryan fan, he's been telling us he's a dickhead for years. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a surprise.
It's not a shock.
Like get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And I
know? Like,
appreciate that, like, people are able to tell their side of the story now.
yeah.
Like she could come out and talk on a podcast. Imagine 15 years ago, they would have buried that so hard,
Yeah, yeah.
you would have never known.
No.
And
Nope.
now it's like people can't be horrible people without you
No.
knowing it.
Right. Right.
And it could still be great music, but you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that person
I mean,
isn't
I mean,
hot.
even
Like,
look at Morgan. Morgan's the same way.
right. Exactly. You're like, this guy's
Like,
undeniably incredible at songwriting and
right,
singing.
right.
But like,
If I had a daughter, would I want her to go home with him? No, absolutely not.
exactly,
No,
exactly.
no.
Would I have ever dated him back when I was single? Not a chance.
Right,
You
right,
know? Like,
right,
and especially if it was my nieces or anything like you said, if you had a daughter, like,
right.
no. But at least you know who they are.
That's true. That's true.
You
Right.
know?
And like, I almost respect that even more.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Because we used to be lied to about everything.
right, right.
You
It's like,
know?
I mean, even think about, you think about even like Johnny Cash,
Yeah.
right? Like, I love the Cashes, I do, but like, Johnny wasn't the most upstanding citizen in the world.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
Yes. You're kind of like, oh, wow, wow, wow.
right.
Well, even like, I remember the toxic. Do you remember when Jessica Simpson got up on stage and everybody was like, she's so fat? Do you remember that?
Kind
She had
of.
this outfit on and like you look back now and you're like, she was so normal size. But at the time,
Right. Right. At the,
like the anorexia thing was
yeah.
such a popular thing that homegirl got up there with completely normal body type and people were like obese. It
Yeah.
was just,
Well, it's kind of like how old are you? Are you my age or younger than me?
I'm your age. I'm 34.
All right. Well, you're younger than me, but thank you.
Okay.
Because I remember when I was a teenager and like Britney Spears like had hit the scene, and she was young, and then like
Yeah.
a year later, like like we do, we develop and all that. And like she came out and, she had a figure and everybody was like, oh, she has breast implants. That I remember
I
very
remember that
distinct. Like, it's like, how do you
vividly.
like make that leap? This is a little, more or less a little girl
A
at the time.
child.
Right.
Yeah.
And if this is what happens,
She
like,
was 17 when she
yeah,
came out with Baby One More Time.
yeah. And it's like, of course, like, and like back in those days, right? When we were growing up, when we were 16, 17 years old, we didn't look like what 16 and 17 looks like now. We
No.
didn't. It didn't.
No.
It was not a thing, and I will
No.
die on that hill.
No. I truly looked. I had braces, like the metal braces.
Yeah.
There was no Invisalign.
No. No.
I
No.
I
You.
didn't have that. I
Right.
had braces. I wore basketball shorts everywhere because I was a little tomboy and wanted to be out on the farm.
Yeah.
And I really did not have a good sense of style. I wore a large belt with everything.
At a girl.
Like just like over. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
over the outfit. It
Yeah.
was like, and then we had like this weird blazer phase where we like dressed as like business casual in the club. Like,
Really?
oh yeah, it was like all the girls, we all like wore blazers.
No
It was
shit,
like,
huh?
oh, it was a thing. And
I.
see, I was punk rock, and so I had like my little fingerless gloves.
Oh yeah, girls. Yep.
How like I had a side swoop. I had like I had black hair. My hair covered one eye, and you can't type. You have to.
Yeah. Very
Like,
My Chemical Romance of you, Gab.
oh, it was. I was obsessed with Gerard Way. I thought we were gonna get married. I was like, he's my person. Like,
It's funny because like I think about it too. Like I would, you know, as a boy, right, growing up in the early 2000s and all that, um, you know, when it came to music and style and all that, like I went through like I thought I was heavy metal for a while,
yep.
and then I thought I was emo for a while, and then I got to college, and then I was like this not this hippie, but not a hippie because I like jam bands,
Right.
and then it was like once I started to like have kids and do family things, it was like, oh, now country music makes sense.
It's so weird because I always had such a southern accent that I had it way worse when I was younger because my mom. And I would sing rock music and people would be like, oh yeah, this girl, she has a really dope southern rock band. I was like, it's just rock.
Right.
You
Well, like
know?
I talked to Jarrett Reddick not too long ago, the lead singer from Bowling for Soup.
Yes.
And they're from Texas, and I said to him, like, how the fuck do you have a punk rock band from Texas when you have all this other much better music, more or less?
I know.
And it's like, how did that work? You
I
know,
know. I know.
it's it's
And you
wild,
know what's so crazy is me and Shay talked about it one time, and it was just like because both of us were real. We grew up, in the church, singing Kirk Franklin, Mary, Mary, all of that, and people are always asking, you guys write so different. You have this different voice, all this stuff, and I'm like, well, when you're in the middle, we didn't have the internet like we have it
right?
now.
Right? No, absolutely not.
It wasn't easily accessible. You would have to go places and listen to the radio or whatever you would sing in church. It wasn't like this accessible thing that you could do online. The only thing you could do is like on YouTube,
Right?
and even then we had dial-up out here, so it's like buffering for 30 minutes before you can hear a cover.
Right? Right? Right?
Forget about trying to upload one of your own.
Right, right. And then you'd only get to hear like 60 seconds of a song, and then it would buffer, buffer, buffer.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude, I remember those
And then
days.
somebody would call on
Yeah,
the landline, and you'd be like, "Oh,
yeah.
my
Oh, it was the
line wire
worst.
just crashed."
Yep, yep. I'm surprised I didn't go through more computers than I did with LimeWire and shit like that. Like
Oh
it's,
my gosh,
I'm,
it was such a problem.
yeah,
I
you know,
crashed 2 computers because of LimeWire
yeah,
and
and like you could download everything,
everything.
music
But then you would
videos.
get like the weird things in the front of it. You remember that? But beats.
Yep,
Like,
yeah, yep. and nobody could edit those out because we didn't have that kind of technology.
We didn't know how to do it. So
Right.
you would just be listening to it, and all of a sudden you'd be like, Carl Beats. So you're like, it like became part of the song,
Yeah.
like, Buddha, 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 rockin' everywhere, Carl Beats.
Damn, I'm going back now. Holy shit. That's
Right?
making my brain hurt.
But seriously though, like it's changed so much. Can you believe like how much our world has changed within just the last, couple of decades?
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, think about it, right? And this is no slight to you, to your brother, to anybody else that's in this industry, but without the internet the way it is, we're not sitting here having this conversation because I
No.
don't even know you exist. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
that's the long and short of it.
It truly is. And back in the day, you think about all these people that would hand out their records on the street, and like, here, listen to my CD or whatever. And now all you've got to do is like promote it up on some platform.
Right.
The way that we have changed it from all of the labels having all this power to the artists having the power, I think ticks them off a little bit.
Right.
Because, like, it's been a change for all of them,
Yeah. Like, it's one of those things, right? And I I know we talked about it a little bit last time. I historically have talked about it more and more over the last few years because this podcast has also shifted too, where like the type of country music I like or prefer, I shouldn't say prefer, but I like hone in on is different than it was 3 years ago when I started, right?
Right.
Um, but like you think about, and we talked about this last time, you think about a duo like, your brother and Dan, right? And those two dudes have a God-given talent,
Yeah.
right? As much as I will, for views and clicks and whatever, like talk shit, but
Right.
your brother could sing the phone book and it sounds good.
It's unbelievable.
Right. But like going back to it 15 years ago, they're just another duo trying
Yeah.
to make it. And that's it.
Right. Exactly.
And that has nothing to do with their talent. And that's, the same goes for you. Like you're super
Yeah.
talented and
Thank
super
you.
awesome. But like,
Like, keep going. I'll just
yeah.
wait for you to.
Oh, Gabby. But yeah, like it's just, but even like, you think about some of these artists that have come out of TikTok and all this shit that have like
Yep.
blown up and now they're doing, major tours and stuff. Like those are some artists that I want to see just to say, okay, what's the hype? Because
Right.
you can see a minute clip and they sound great and it's the same clip you hear over and over and over
Right.
again, but can they put on an hour and a half show?
Right. Because it's so much more. I think that's one thing that the labels are really trying to figure out. They'll sign all these, TikTok artists and stuff and then realize the work ethic's not there.
No, because
Because, it
they
is
didn't have
tough.
to.
It is tough being on the
Yeah,
road, writing every day. Your vocal cords get tired. You get tired. You
right.
you know you have to be able to communicate with your audience. Some people, they don't like hanging out with people. I love talking to people that enjoy the same type of stuff I do and connect with my music. I'm like,
Yeah,
tell me your story. I want to know. And these people, they don't, like, a lot
no,
of them, they don't want to. They're
no,
like, I'm just going to need you to sit and listen, and then I'm going to leave and make my money.
yeah,
And that's not how music has ever been.
no,
And I think that's the one thing that the TikTok world has kind of taken from artists, is that the work ethic still has to be there.
right. Like you
You
can,
can't just go out there and expect to be famous.
right. When you go to a concert or whatever, and especially in like the way we do this, right?
Right.
Like you know those that have been grinding for years and doing it the right way, because those are the ones that want to talk. Those are the ones that want to
Exactly.
connect. But the ones that have been around for a very short period of time and don't have that, they don't
Yep.
they don't want to give you the time of day, because they don't. I think a
No.
lot of it is because they just don't know how.
Right. And also, they don't think it's necessary. They're
Right.
thinking, like, this
Exactly.
is a waste of my time or whatever. Like, they don't value the human aspect of it, like the
Right.
human connection. And I think, me and Deb, we've always talked about this is like, music is a team.
Yeah.
It's not just, you and your musicians. It's your management. It's the people that are rooting for you.
Yeah.
It's the people that are promote it for you. It's just so much more than just making a great song. Because obviously, you got to make great songs. You can't
Right.
just
Right.
put
Right.
out Dookie and be like, okay, everybody champion it, But but it's so much
It's true.
about, still word of mouth and people being like, they're a good hang. They're a cool person. I really like their music. And then they'll show people.
Right.
And the organic aspect of it is still a big deal.
Right.
To me,
And
at
you
least.
and you know that's why I do this show the way I do it, because it's very, it started off as me just being a fan and just wanting to talk
Yeah.
to people, right? But
Right.
now it's like we've grown this thing to be, you know, I think it's
Connections.
right, and I think it's bigger than I even realize it at times. I know that sounds so fucking arrogant,
No, it
um but it's
doesn't.
like it's true, and it's like, like I'll reach out to people and be like, listen, this is more or less um free promotion, more or less,
Right.
and it's like, if you look through our social media and the way we do things, it's very organic, it's very, from a fan's point of view, and I
Exactly.
think that's why people connect with it. But it's like, I can't tell you how many teams have come back and been like, no, just not what we're looking for. It's like, what do you mean you don't want to have
Right.
like an actual connection to people? You want to just
Right.
be fucking the glitz and the glamour? Then fine. You know what?
Exactly. And
Fine.
that stuff, like, I don't even like going to the award shows and stuff.
I don't
Like,
blame you.
it's not my favorite thing to do because it's just a lot of just like you dress up, you go, you get pictures, and then like, of course, that's awesome. But right now, I have not been nominated for not one thing.
No.
Like there's not a reason for me to go. And the
Right.
fact that like everybody's always like, oh yeah, you just want to be seen. I'm like, but I don't.
But I don't. Right.
But I don't. Like,
You
I
know,
feel like you need to do more stuff like this, of like just talking to the audience. Like, who cares if you're, at an award show,
right. Right.
not getting one award?
And it's funny you talk about that, because like, I have my ACM membership and my CMA membership, and like, so like I see, the voting process from start to finish and all that, and it's like,
Right,
it also sucks that it's the same artists year after
right.
year after year, and it's
Yes.
like
And it's all the labels that are like, hey, I want to push this artist, I want to push this artist,
right, like, like I love Little Big Town, right? But they haven't come out
Yeah,
with an album in years. Why the fuck are they up for Group of the Year every year?
right.
You know what I
I
mean? Like,
know.
come on.
I know. And it's
Then
always like the labels trying to get, their artist or whatever at another award. And to me, I'm excited the place that we're at, because awards and stuff like that is, it's like giving somebody a cookie.
yeah. Oh, now it is. Absolutely.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
They are virtually meaningless.
It's like, okay. Like,
Right.
here's your little cookie. Like, good
Right.
job for making
Right.
us a lot of money. But I think we've gone past that to the point where, like, I want to connect with people that connect to the music
Yeah.
and not connect just to make myself look cool. Like,
Right.
that
Right.
fades. And when you go through a near death experience, really, it is like you truly wake up from that and you're like, a lot of this crap is just really meaningless.
Yeah.
This is so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, it's truly about the connection. It's about the people around you. We're all gonna die one day,
Yeah.
and that sounds super morbid, but it's
No,
true.
it's true.
You
And
know,
it's, in this industry, as you, I'm sure, as it's about whose ass can you kiss the most.
right?
You know,
Exactly.
and
And
it's
when you're past it, when you're like, I have no reason. Like, I want to connect with the people that are good people
Yeah.
and that have true hearts and true intentions. And I'm blessed to have a brother that's like that too. Because with him being so famous, it would be easy for him to be a little turd nugget,
Yeah.
you
Oh yeah.
know?
Oh, I'm sure.
And
I'm
he
sure.
is the kindest, most generous guy. And it makes me so proud and thankful that I have a brother like that because he could be completely different.
Yeah.
Like you really could have a different situation there.
Yeah.
And I have to attribute it to my parents because they're just so unbelievably precious and love the Lord and love their family. And they always taught us it's not about money. It's not because we grew up very, beans and cornbread every day type
Yeah.
thing. And my dad, it took him 7 years to build the first house
Damn.
because he was just taking, materials from where, when he could, buy materials when he could. And so everything that they have now was fought for. They weren't given anything. And so the way we grew up was you work hard for what you have, but money doesn't define who you are, and it doesn't define, what you can do for others and how God can use you. And
Yeah.
so I think that was the biggest impact on all three, me, Erica, and Shay, of all of us being, business people, loving business, loving, doing what we do. And we make a good living, but we don't view that as the most important thing that we give back to the world.
Yeah.
You know?
I absolutely love that you said that because there was a time there. I think even like the last time we talked, like my main focus with this podcast and everything we've built around it was how can I make money?
Right,
How can I make money off of this? And
right,
then it got to a point where I realized, you know what, that's not why you started this.
right.
And once I got out of that, like the conversations got better, the
Yeah,
content got better, like everything just got better.
yes.
And
Isn't
then
that wild
because
how it does that?
it unbelievable. Like it
It's like a
opened
mental
so
shift.
right, and it opened so many more doors that were closed probably because
Yeah,
the focus wasn't there.
right. And it's so easy to get caught up in the things of the world and
Yeah.
everything that you need to be doing. And it was so hard for me to take a step after, all this thing went down. It was so hard for me because I was, all in, 24/7, and then boom,
Yeah.
it was just, okay, you're going to have to take some time. And it was the best thing to ever happen to me because it made me refocus, reevaluate what was important. And honestly, I've never felt better than I have after, brain surgery. Even when we talked, it's
Yeah.
just, it's a mind shift
Yeah.
that
And
was incredible.
don't take this the wrong way, but like this conversation is incredible, right? But there you thinking about it now, the first conversation we had to like now, you sound not that you've never sounded happy, but you sound happy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it
Like,
does.
like if I listened back a little bit to the last one, and I never do that, but like I love
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
so yeah, whatever. And like we hit some topics in that
Yeah,
conversation that I'm not sure that we would touch on now.
right.
And that's
Yes,
okay. That's wonderful.
right. And
But
it's
it's
something that I feel like if I hadn't gone through what I went through, I would not. And I look and I see all these people that discover this way later in life,
yeah,
and they come to this realization and they're like, that doesn't really matter.
yeah,
And this does. And the older people are always trying to tell us, oh, just, love the people that are around you, like your family and your close friends. And they'll tell you, all this wisdom. And we're always like, okay, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's true.
And then when you go through something that's like I went through, there's such a maturity process that happens so quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that now I'm so grateful for it because who knows if I would have ever gotten there.
Right.
You know, it's really up in the air of like if I would have ever been able to look back at my life and been like, I'm really proud of the time I spent with my family, the time I spent with my friends, but also the value I put on things
Right.
and the value I put on my music, the value I put on the people around me. You know, it's so different the way I look at things, and I have a lot to attribute that to just being around my family, but also realizing how small fame and money and everything else is
Yeah.
compared to eternity.
Yeah. And
You know?
it's also funny, right? And I'm not sure if you've gone through this, but like gone through some things over the last year and a half, 2 years, and it's like also the people you thought were going to be there,
Yes.
and how quickly people will turn on you, and
Mm-hmm.
how it just so wild how quick things will turn when things get hard.
Yes. You really see, you find out who your friends are, that song, you
Yeah.
know, it's very true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And I think, for me, it also made me realize I want to be the friend
Yeah.
that people can depend on.
100%. Right.
It made me a better friend.
And I think that happens to those of us that have gone through actual shit,
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
because it's like
Exactly.
the way you feel or the way you felt when that person wasn't there for you that you thought was going to
Yeah.
be, you don't ever want to feel like that ever again. Or you don't
No,
want
and you
anybody
never
else
want
to
other
feel like that.
people.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yep. Yep.
exactly.
Girl.
Like, oh, I can't wait for you to come visit me.
I
Now,
can't wait
now
either.
I'm like, it's this fall. It's
Right.
this fall. I remember. Fort Smith.
Yep.
We're gonna
Yep.
do it.
Yep. God. Like, but it is one of those things where it's,
Yeah,
the shit I've gone through in the last year and a half and the people that have turned their back on me,
yeah,
it's bizarre.
yeah.
It's
And
bizarre.
it's always from people you never expected it from.
Correct.
You're just
Yep.
like, whoa, I invested so much time into you, and I didn't see this coming.
Right.
Like you're the
Even,
one person.
even if you are partially the cause of something, right?
Right.
Like the people that's supposed to love you and care about you, like if you're going through something, you don't fucking turn your back.
Yeah.
You don't.
And that's a big deal because when you're going through the hardest parts of your life, when people are there for you, I'm telling you, like makes you loyal to them like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Like a ride or die. And that's the difference. It's like if, my friends that have stood by me, it's like if anything happened to them, I would be on the road tomorrow.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
would be packing up my stuff and be like, what do you need?
Right.
Because
I
it's
can't.
it's rare.
Right. But like the things I've been through, like it is like we were saying, it has made me a better friend because I'll tell you,
Yes.
prior to the last year and a half, 2 years, I was a shitbag friend.
Yeah.
Like I've always been out, like I think about it, like I've always been very selfish and out for myself, right?
Right,
And
right.
now it's like, how can I help? How can I help you? You want to talk? You want,
Yes.
like, and like, for people that have known me my entire life, they're like, what's wrong? Like, because
Right.
like I've taken a whole different shift on things. My
Right. It's a
perspective has
heart
totally
change.
changed.
Yeah. It's a heart change. And like I
Yeah.
feel like so many people have such incredible hearts that you find after you go something super hard and you're like, I would not have thought that you were this incredible of a person
Yes.
until you were
Yes.
here when no one else was. And
Yep.
now I will be loyal to you to the day I die.
Yep.
Like
Absolutely.
it changes
Absolutely.
things. But
It
I think,
does.
in the music industry, making it, having people like that around you is so rare and so valuable that when
Yep.
you find it, it's it's truly special.
It is. It 100%.
You know?
Because this, at the end of the day, this is a very lonely industry.
Yes,
It is very
it
like
is.
because at the end of the day, regardless of how many people you write with or collaborate with or whatever, like,
Yes.
and I hate to say it this way, but they will turn their back at the second they have the opportunity.
Exactly. Or if they feel like they can get the opportunity that was going to be offered to you,
Correct.
they're like, I will
Correct.
stomp right over them to get to where I want to be. And when you're not like that, you're surprised. You're like, what in the world? I
Right.
can't believe. And it can either make you jaded or it makes you
Yeah.
appreciate the people that aren't that way.
Yep.
And for
100%.
us, we're like, we ain't gonna be jaded.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that. It's
Nope.
not gonna be us.
But if you're gonna be a dick to me, I'm gonna just work even harder because the next time
Exactly.
I'm gonna just steamroll over you and you're not even gonna realize.
Exactly. You're like, I'm just gonna,
Right.
prove
I'm
you
just
wrong.
right. I'm gonna be the bigger person and fuck you up anyway.
Exactly. Oh Lord.
So when we release this episode, you're gonna have a single coming out.
Yes.
I don't know which one. I didn't read the email. I have somebody else that does that for me now. Um,
Oh, look at you.
I
You got
know,
people.
right?
You have
I
people.
just my calendar gets filled, and my girl that does all the booking, she's awesome, and
That's amazing.
she's like, don't forget you have this, and this today. I'm like, okay, like,
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, yeah. Everything was getting lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
Like
Deb does that for me. She's like, by the way, don't forget. And I'm
yeah.
like, I have it on my calendar.
Yeah. Like it was funny. Last night I reached out to an artist on Instagram that as we've been going back and forth. And I was like, hey, do you have time? This and the other. She's like, I already got it booked with your booker. And I was like, oh. Like
Oh, oh.
probably should read my calendar every now and again. No big
Now
deal.
you're like, I'm probably gonna need to go back and make sure that nobody thinks that I don't remember them.
Right. And the worst part
You
about
thought
it
you
is
talked to me, and
right.
in fact you didn't. Like,
And then come to find out, all the booking emails have like my signature stamped to them.
you're like, you're welcome, Jim. And I'm like,
Right.
by the way, this is Jim.
Right.
Just seeing if you're available. She's
Fucking
like, yeah,
wild.
I told you I was.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. I was like, oh,
we're talking next week.
right. Sounds good. Because like when um, my regular work schedule and this is like all over the place. So
Yes.
my girl Jenna that does all the bookings, she's like, this lady named Deb reached out about Gabby Mooney. I'm like, whatever she wants, anything she wants. You put Gabby on that schedule today if you need to.
That makes me feel so special.
Like literally, that was the conversation. I was like, whatever
Oh
Gabby
my gosh.
wants, Gabby
Well, now
gets.
she knows. Now she knows.
Yeah,
It's like, that's my bestie.
yep, that's
Just
my
let me
girl. Yeah,
know. Let me know when I'm getting on.
right, right. We talked. I don't ever want to stop these conversations, but I do have to go to work soon. But
Oh yes, you're
um,
fine.
we talked about it 2 years ago, and we joked about it not too long ago. We have to fucking do a podcast, like
We
put something
do.
together. Even if it's
I'm
like once a
in.
month, I don't care,
I'm in. I'm so in.
dude.
Like
A
I'm
conspiracy
not good at
theory
this, but I feel
podcast
like
with you
you
and I
are
would be
so good at
awesome.
it.
Oh, thank
We
you.
could do a conspiracy thought podcast.
Yeah. What's your favorite one right now?
Right now is okay. So I've been getting super into the frequencies.
Okay.
I've been learning about frequencies because after brain surgery, like I went down into the depths of like learning about all the LTE, everything that is like harmful to our bodies.
Yeah.
So back in the day on World War I or World War II, do you know that church bells, it's 432 hertz, okay? That's called the God frequency. Our phones and the LTE towers are giving off the raw, poor frequency. It's giving everyone anxiety and depression
I
because
believe it.
of the frequencies. Well, if you go into frequencies and you do this, look at the studies that they came out with, they have 432 hertz music playing to plants. And they did a test, and when they did one field and the other, the field that was with the 432 frequency, which is like either opera or like worship music or stuff like that that's tuned to 432, they grew 3 times as big and had 3 times the yield. And they did this for like 5 years in a row.
Wow.
With different fields, different things. And so it's like scientifically proven. But then they did like back in the day, they took down all the church bells back when they were trying to do all the pharmaceuticals. The church bells had the 432 frequency. And so every day it was giving off a healthy frequency. We took it down so we could give people more pills. That's my conspiracy.
Because of what I do for work now, I can't talk too much about it, but
Oh, really?
I think you're onto something.
I'm telling you right now, I have been down in the depths of it, and like I have grounding sheets now that I'm like super far into it because now I've like done all this research with like frequencies and direct energy weapons. We have had that for years and years.
Yeah.
With being able to take sound and burn something up. Oh, you're reconnecting. Oh no.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're good. Oh,
are you there? Can you see me? Okay.
Yeah.
We've been able to do direct energy weapons for years and years. And it's literally with a frequency and lasers. And so you can look it up on the CIA website. Like it's all there. And then people are like, no, that's not a thing. I'm like, then how come it's documented?
Right.
You know? So yeah, that's what I've been in. That's been my rabbit hole.
now my TikTok algorithm's gonna be all this now and all
Yes,
that.
exactly. It's being juice. And you're like, that's all you're gonna get on TikTok. It's like
Damn it. Well, I can't wait to go down that rabbit hole later.
I know, right? Just wait. It's gonna be nuts.
I can't wait for new music. I can't wait for everything you're doing.
Oh, thank you, Joe. I can't wait for you to come and visit me.
I'm gonna.
This fall, and I won't forget. You better not forget.
I was gonna go to Fort Smith a few years ago, but like trying to get a flight from here to there was almost impossible.
You know, okay, so we just now, I don't know when they're going to be able to do it, but Fayetteville is going to be an international airport.
Oh, okay.
And then Fort Smith is going to be a national airport.
Because like the closest thing I was able to get for a flight was I would have had to fly into Oklahoma City.
Yes.
And at that point, it's still, 2 hours or an hour and a half or whatever the fuck.
Oh, it's so far.
Right.
It's so far.
Oh, I'd have to rent a car. I'd have to rent a car.
Well, just let me know if you end up going to X and A, and I can just come pick you up.
Sounds good.
Because Fayetteville's not too far. Fayetteville's like an hour and a half. It's not bad.
Perfect.
Not bad at all. I'll just come with my Jeep is very messy, though.
It's fine.
Deb makes fun of me because it's like
my Jeep is not messy. How do you keep your Jeep messy?
I manage.
I don't get it. Like I have like a McDonald's cup, and I'm like, oh my god, this place is just a pigsty.
You're like my husband. Right? Like, excuse my mess, and it's like one cup in the middle. I'm like, I'll try.
God, Gabby, I love you so much. I'm so happy
you're so much, Jim.
I'm so happy you're here. And what is the new single that's out this week?
Oh, well, there's not one that's coming out this week. It comes out in a few weeks, and I haven't decided which one it's going to be.
When we release this, we're releasing it in
conjunction with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the song that I have, it's called 20 and a 78. And I'm really excited about that. And we have 2 other ones that are coming out too. I recorded one that Shay wrote for me, and it's called If You Do, Don't. That's the first time anybody's heard that. And the song is incredible. Of course, he's an unbelievable songwriter.
He sucks.
And so, I mean, like, yeah, he's the worst. You should give me all your songs because they're so bad. You give them to me.
I mean, I don't know. Shay's singing and songwriting keeps me speechless. I'll see myself out. I'll see myself
But
out. I think that's the only Dan and Shay song I know.
they've got some smashes, I'll tell
I know.
you.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I know, but I love you to pieces, Jim.
I
I'm
love you
so
so much.
grateful for
Oh,
you.
you have no idea. You like,
And
in this industry and even outside of this, like, you're one of my best friends. So thank you for everything you do.
thank you. Well, you're coming to visit me this fall,
I'm gonna
so
I'm gonna I'm gonna look at the dates on when that is, because we're going to
deal.
Maryland for Country Calling at the beginning of October. So
Okay.
we'll figure it
Well,
out.
look at the dates and let me
I'm gonna.
know.
I'm gonna.
Okay. I
I'm gonna.
love you.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Our conversation with Gabby Mooney. Again, Gabby, thank you so much from the bottom of our heart for being here today. New music is out this week. Go check it out. Go save it everywhere. Go follow her on all of her socials. Socials. Can't speak. Fine. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you super soon. We'll be back next week with Aubrey Sellers. She is one of a kind, and she's on next week because she will be here in Foxborough with Parker McCullum, Chris Stapleton, and George Strait. And we will be at that show covering it top to bottom. So stay tuned for that. That'll be June 21st, I want to say. Whatever a couple Saturdays is from now. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Here's to 301 and many more. So until next time, guys, be good to each other. We'll see you down the road. Cheers.